Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, everybody. My name's Todd Straugh. I'm the sales director here in Grant Cardone's office. And it's our Wednesday, 2 p.m. Sales support webinar. So we just wrapped up November. We're kicking off December. And we're going to dive into some great content today. I've got a few notes. We should be in here for about 20 minutes or so. And really the purpose of these webinars is just to remind you, this could be your first webinar. You could be one of those people that hooked up with our great holiday special. This could be your first webinar. This could be your fourth or fifth one. But just for everybody that's new, the number one reason we do these webinars is really just to give you something extra to bridge the gap between what we have inside the platform and really for you guys to be able to take that content and then merge it into your business, apply it the right way, give you some strategies that you can use that's sort of third-party, real-life examples, and really just tie everything together because obviously when you're inside the program, you'll see tons of content, and the big theme of everything that's inside the platform is what to do to be great at sales, how to master the phone, how to master the closing, how to be an expert at follow-up, how to master the sales process, and all these things that you can learn inside our program that's going to make you the most effective salesperson. It's going to make you, the person that's going to finish the year. Maybe you're in second place right now and you've got 3 or 4 weeks to take down that number one slot. Well, what we're going to talk about today is we're going to be talking about all the mistakes that you could be doing in addition to all the stuff that you're doing that's great. So the one thing that we know with salespeople is I don't have enough salespeople reaching out and saying, hey, I need help. It's always something that's really tough. It's how do I, it's like an ego thing. Most of you guys, you don't reach out to your manager and say, hey, I suck at this part of my job or I'm failing at this part of the transaction. Most of you aren't volunteering that information. So the purpose of today is to run through a list of all the mistakes that you could be doing in addition to what you're doing right, but it's sabotaging the deal. You did 90% of it right, and then you did something dumb that we're going to talk about today that's causing you to miss that deal. You're missing it by 1 inch or 2 inches, or, you're getting a lot of think about it. Call me next week's. And you're like, man, I did what Grant said. I did what happened in the video. I followed the script. I did everything right, and the deal never closed. Well, maybe we're about to find that out today. So for you guys, your job is to basically, for today, your assignment is to be making a list that looks like this. And it's just a simple sheet. I'm going to run through the list of all the mistakes that you can make. Just grab a blank sheet of paper. It's probably going to sound good when it comes out. And then 3 or 4 days from now, you're not going to remember. You're going to lose your notes. So as I run through this list of information, just make a T-chart, mistakes on the left. And then on the right-hand side, your homework for today is just put a column for the greats. So as I run through this list here of all the mistakes that you could be making, we're going to cover what a top salesperson would be doing instead. We're going to talk about everything wrong that you could do in a transaction. And then basically the opposite of this would equal something that a great salesperson would do. Save this, keep it on your desk, throw it in your car, keep it as a reminder. And really it's how do we stop you from shooting yourself in the foot when you're doing most of the things right. So that's the purpose of today's call. And so we're going to slide into the first section, and I titled this, The Mistakes in the Sales Process as a Whole. So in the general category, and this is the biggest mistake, I remember when I was a manager in my last job, we would work with hundreds of salespeople, and I'd have classes of 50 or 60 salespeople. And the number one mistake that we noted here is that you're using a random approach. That's going to be the first thing that's going to go right here. I'm using a random approach, which means that the approach that you did this morning when you interact with a customer, it was different than the day before. The pitch that you're going to do tonight is going to differ from the one you did this morning, and it's not going to be anywhere near the same thing that you're going to do in 2 weeks from now. You're random, and your sales are random. Your manager can't predict the results. Your manager has no clue how to project or how to predict what's gonna be put on the sales board from you, because it could be a good demo, it could be a bad demo, and there's no way to tell. And the only thing that dictates what kind of presentation you're doing is how much coffee you had in the morning, if you're hungover from last night, or if you role play a little bit this morning. But it's always going to vary, and that's going to be the number one mistake that we see all the time. We get a lot of recordings of salespeople, and we get a lot of different scripts and live presentations, and it's the same person and it's 4 different pitches. Okay? That's mistake number 1. So what would a great salesperson do? The opposite of random would be that they do the same thing over and over again. Okay? You look at great salespeople, they're consistent, they're very easy to predict, their graphs go like this, they know exactly what to do next, they've got 3 or 4 scenarios that can happen, and they've got a canned automated response. It's a new customer, and they follow the same structure every single day. And if you look at your top salespeople in your business, that's probably one thing they all have in common, is they're so predictable, you could probably regurgitate their pitch backwards and forwards because it never really changes. So the mistake would be to use something random. If you want to be a great salesperson, just do the same thing over and over and over again. Okay, mistake number 2 is that you're skipping steps. Okay, you've got your script, and basically what happens is you're going through the greeting, and all of a sudden you're like, oops, ran into a problem, customer asked a question, I'm derailed, and let me just skip down to showing the product, or let me skip to the prices, let me skip to get my manager involved. Okay, what would you have some water? Yeah. Sorry. This could be a mistake. Another mistake. You're out of water. You're in the demo. You start coughing. Customer's right in front of you. What do? That's a mistake. Don't do that. So you're taking shortcuts. Okay. What would the top salesperson do? They would not make that mistake. They would, in my case, they would have some water. Thanks, Rob. All right. I guarantee that happens to, every salesperson's probably got one of those there. All right. So, obviously, just don't skip steps. You're being talked out of the steps, okay? You're in your sales process, and the customer says, hey, man, I don't need to see your pitch. Right? Hey, look, dude, I know what you do. I've seen your product online. Don't give me the damn pitch. I don't want a freaking salesperson pitch me. Great salesperson. Thank you. Appreciate you. Agree? It's my show, man. I got a throat that's all dried out. I'm pitching, man. I'm pitching too hard, man. This is a good mistake right here, okay? This is a good mistake. Okay, we're doing it live. All right. You're being talked out of steps, okay? Great salesperson says, thank you, customer. I appreciate you. I don't have to go through the whole thing. I won't waste your time. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to run you by this, and this, okay? They're in control of their presentations. All right. Another mistake is you're not getting answers to the questions that you are asking. I'm going to ask a question that's in my script, and I don't even know why I'm saying what I'm supposed to be saying, so I'm not even going to get a response. Hey, how many people do you have on your sales team? Then the customer just goes on talking, and you never got a response back. That could be a mistake. You're trying to build value, and you're trying to fact find. You're in there trying to extract the data, and the customer's not giving you what you're looking for, and then you just blow past it and you move on. That could be a mistake. Okay, top salesperson, right? They know how to get an answer to a question, right? Hey, ma'am, I appreciate that, but let me ask you something. How many salespeople do you have on your team? Yeah, well, right now what we're doing is we're doing X, Y, and Z. Yeah, I'm with you. I appreciate that, sir. But would you have 10 or 15 or 20 salespeople? They're going back, and they're not moving forward until they're getting answers to all their questions. Okay? Another mistake is you're too mechanical. Okay? You're the guy that's like, oh my gosh, I've got all my scripts here, and I can't do anything that's not on this script. And it's kind of like somebody that's taking a dancing lesson, and they're just really awkward, and there's no rhythm there. They're too mechanical. They're not drilled. They're not rehearsed. It looks like it's the first time you've run through it. Okay, a great salesperson is going to be role-playing the script until they can, massage all the mechanics out of it. It's one smooth, solid presentation. That's what's going to happen with a great salesperson. Okay? Now, when we're inside the greeting, okay, these are the most common mistakes that you could have when you're greeting a customer, okay? You're not enthusiastic, okay? Or you're not even greeting the customer. Walk into a furniture store today, right? And then just start walking around and see how long it takes for somebody to greet you, okay? You're also taking the RDRs personally. RDR, reactionary defense responses. You take those personally. Customer shows up into your organization, you're on the phone, and the customer says, hey, man, I'm not buying anything today. That's an RDR, right? Mistake would be to take that personal, and all of a sudden your whole pitch just shifted because they said, I'm not buying today. Great salesperson, right? They're going to go into their objection handling. They're going to handle the customer. They're going to treat it as a complaint. They're not going to take it personal, and they're going to continue on with their presentation. Okay. Another mistake in the greeting is that they approach problems as problems. Customer shows up, they got a problem, and they treat it as a problem. A great salesperson, they love problems because they know the answer to a problem equals money. If you could solve a problem, that's a deal for you. If you don't know what the problem is, you can't solve it and you can't get that customer to exchange their problem and your solution for money. So a mistake would be that anytime a problem comes up, it just derails you. You're like, oh, I got a problem customer. You're flailing around and you're trying to get out of there quick. Treat problems as opportunities. That's what the great salesperson would do. There's no introduction. You have no introduction. You say things like, I can't do that. Customer walks in, they have a request, they have a demand, and the first thing out of your mouth is, I can't do that. That's a mistake. Can't do that, can't give you this, can't give you that, can't let you do this, right? Rule number 1 of selling, always, always, always agree, okay? Great salespeople, I can't do that. The great salesperson says, done, handled, got it, excellent, no problem. I can definitely do that. How fast can I get it out to you? Can I send it to you in writing? Where's the best number I can text it to you on? And they take that simple request and they turn it into an opportunity to super freak the customer. Telling customers to wait. Hey, hold on a second. I need to put you on hold for 10 minutes. Customer walks in. Hey, I need this. Hey, no problem. I just need you to hold on for a second. Right? Worst thing you could ever do to a customer, especially Grant Cardone, put him on hold. You just lost a deal. Giving price too early. Okay, giving price too early and in the wrong setting. You're not even set up to handle price and you're throwing price around. You're doing the close and the greeting and you skipped the fact finding, the presentation, the trial close. The customer has nothing to look at and we're talking about price. You've flopped your sales process inside out, and this is probably one of the biggest mistakes with amateur or brand new salespeople. Customer says one question, how much is it? Salesperson's got no idea what to do. Price comes out, the deal unwinds quick. You're being negative. That's a big mistake. You're being negative. You're not training. You're not watching your videos. You're complaining about the leads. You're complaining about the last 10 customers that didn't buy anything. This person wasted my time. This thing sucks. The phone's not ringing. Everybody's going on vacation. And, and my girlfriend's pissed off. That could keep you from getting a deal. If you know everything about how to close a deal, that one thing right there. Where's those signs at? Do we have them here? Yeah, the no negativity signs? Yeah. Where's it at? Maybe you're the guy that needs to buy $1,000 worth of these from our store. Maybe there's a manager that's like, man, I got great salespeople, but they just need one of these in front of their face 24/7. Right? Are these on sale still? Are we out of those? Okay. You're not giving the buyer hope. This is one big thing right here. I put like 3 stars. You're not giving the buyer. The buyer needs to have hope. Hope that you're there to solve a problem. Hope that you're the right person. It's the right company. It's going to be the right price. Those are 3 things right there. Are you giving the customer hope that this is the right company? You are the right person, and it's the right product. Those are 3 things right there. Company, the product, and the price. You give people hope on that, and that's something that you're going to see great salespeople doing all day long. They're hope dealers. Customer shows up, man, I got bad credit, no problem. Did they tell you to come see me? I'm the guy that gets all the bad credit customers. Hey, man, I'm just looking today. Excellent. Thank you so much for picking me. I'm the guy that shows everybody the product who's just looking. Follow me. Hey, man, I can't buy without my wife. Excellent. Thank you so much, sir. Did my manager tell you to come see me? Because the only people that I show the product to are people that have to check with their wives. My name's Todd. What's yours? Oh, man, I'm shopping around for my CEO. My CEO said to get me some numbers on this thing. Excellent, sir. Appreciate you calling up. I'm the guy that gives all the information to third parties so you guys can go ahead and make all your intelligent decisions. My name's Todd. Let's go. Okay, you're a hope dealer. I don't know. That's a big one. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know that number. Let me do this. Let me do that. I don't know. I don't know should be something that just becomes erased from your vocabulary starting today. I don't know. What would a great salesperson? Excellent question, sir. I'm so glad you asked. I don't know. Excellent question, sir. I'm so glad you asked. Follow me. Where are we going? We're going to go talk to my manager. He's the guy that knows everything about that. How much is it? I don't know. Great salesperson. How much is it? Well, that's a great question. Everybody that comes here, everybody that looks at that couch asks me the exact same question. Follow me. I'll show you exactly how much it is. I'll show you what it would be today, what it's going to be tomorrow, and I'll show you what it looks like if you pay cash. Follow me. Got to check my CRM. Got to check my database. Okay? I don't know versus excellent question. I'm so glad you asked. I don't know from now on equals that's a great question. I'm so glad you asked. Follow me. Hold on 1 second. And then boom, we slide into the next step. Okay. One more. You're asking for commitments too early. You're asking for early commitments before you can spend your time with the customer. If you commit to me, then I'll do a good job, is basically what you're saying. The customer says, hey, can you show me this? And they say, well, if I show it to you, would you buy from me? If I drive all the way out to your house to do this thing appraisal, if I do all this work, will you buy it from me? That's the fastest way you can turn somebody off. If I go through all these steps in my sales process, will you buy something at the end? Is basically what you're saying. You're saying, hey, I'm not going to do anything that you're asking me for unless you tell me right now in advance that if I go through all these steps, you're going to buy something from me. You're asking for early commitments. Well, if I show you these numbers, would you buy from me? If I did this, would you do that? Great salesperson says, excellent question, and then they just slide into their sales process. Another mistake. You spend too much time in the greeting. You do the relationship close. You've got no idea what to do next, so you spend an hour trying to get the customer to fall in love with you. You do the best friend close. Okay, write the name down of the person in your company that does the best friend close. All they know how to do is to make a friend, and if they don't make a friend, they don't get a customer. The only people they get are people that fall in love with the person and have no clue what they just bought. So they do a 3-hour meet and greet where they get the family. They're a part of the family. They get adopted into it. How's the weather? How's the kids? How's this? How's the blah, blah, blah? The greeting should be quick. It's hey, my name's Todd. What can I get you information on? Appreciate you coming here to take a look. What can I help you with? What problem can I solve for you today? Versus the guy that's going to spend 60 minutes trying to get the customers to fall in love with them because he has no idea how to fact find. He's got no clue how to show the product, and he's scared of price. All right, good. So the last couple ones, we're going to wrap it up here with the mistakes at the end of the deal. Number one mistake is you didn't give the customer a write-up. Every single customer needs to get a write-up. You're not giving the customer numbers until they say, sure, I love it, sign me up. Every single customer needs to get a proposal. If you just made that one thing, and by the way, if you just picked one of these, I mean, I'm going through a whole list. I'm shooting a machine gun right now, and there's one or two of these things that you know for sure. If you just did without for the rest of the year, you're picking up 2 or 3 extra deals. This is one right here. It's an easy one. Not offering figures to every customer. Does every customer that you talk to, do they see a proposal no matter what every single time? Because a great salesperson does that, because how can they buy from you if they don't have a contract? You're waiting for verbal okays versus if you're talking to me, you're going to get an email. It's going to have numbers in it. And every single time I talk to somebody, they're going to have a shot at least putting ink on paper and sending it back to me. One thing that you could change if you're a manager on this call, every customer gets a number every time, no matter what. Next mistake. You're worried about your closing ratio and you hadn't sold anything yet. I got an 80% closing ratio and you closed 4 deals last month. You got the highest closing ratio, and then at the end of the month, when we pull all the deals together, you're in like the middle of the pack. There's 15 or 20 people ahead of you with lower closing percentages, and you're the only one that talks about your closing percentage. You ask Grant this question, Grant, would you rather have somebody that sold a ton of stuff or somebody that has a really high closing percentage? I want the guy that's got the most revenue in my bank account. And that's the guy that might not have the highest closing percentage. He's got more write-ups, he's got more interactions, more transactions with customers versus the guy that's worried about, oh, well, if I write this customer up, it's going to drop my closing stats, and all of a sudden I'm going to go from 80 to 78, and I want to stay in the middle. That could be a mistake. You're worried about the wrong thing. 2 more and we're done. Mistake. You actually avoid rejection. You put yourself in a scenario where you're like sliding out of a scene where you could possibly be rejected. You look for ways to avoid rejection. Imagine if the only thing that you did after this is you're like, oh man, I'm actually going to put myself in scenarios where I can be rejected. I'm going to go from avoiding rejection to I'm only going to put myself in a scenario where I could be rejected. Could you sell a little bit more just by doing that one thing? Robert, what do you think, man? Just make it a rule. No matter what, I'm not going to get in a situation unless I can experience rejection. I have to do 20 encounters a day where they could say no to me. If you just made that one switch, you might be able to do something different next year, this month. Bad attitude, we talked about this one. The last one is poor phrases and poor words. Okay, there's a script. There's vocabulary that leaves your mouth that's different than the top salesperson. They say the same thing, but they say it better. Top salesperson reads. Top salesperson trains. Top salesperson role plays. Average salesperson, they don't read, they don't role play. They're out there watching Fox News, CNN. The only thing that comes out of their mouth is what they heard on the radio in the morning. Top salespeople, they have a better vocabulary because the only words that they see are words from a book. And those sentences are stringed along pretty good. Average salesperson hasn't read one book in their entire career. That could affect the vocabulary. It could affect the words. Could you say something a little bit better? The mistake is that you have poor vocabulary. You've got poor phrases. Top salespeople, they've got brilliant lines. They string sentences together really well. They're great storytellers because they read a lot of stories. They do a lot of training. They do a lot of role playing. They drill it out. Pick 3 of these. Pick 4 of them. Go back, watch this again. Find the one that makes the most sense for you. And then the only thing that you can do is just do the exact opposite. And that could make you the guy that went from the middle of the pack to the top of the pack by doing the same thing that you're doing right, but eliminating all the little mistakes that you're making along the way. My name's Todd Straugh. You can email me, todd@grantcardone.com. If you have any questions, call the office. We're always here to help, and appreciate your time today. Hopefully this helps. Make sure you get your 6 segments in of daily training, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.